Welcome to this June 27th edition of What's Happening in Crypto with CryptoLark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest. Bitcoin, $6,099. Overall, a crazy sea of red in the cryptocurrency markets. Let's have a look at the Bitcoin valuations to the USD valuations. Maybe they'll give us a better picture. Nope, not really. Still a terrible bloodbath. However, of course, Bitcoin is still worth one Bitcoin today. We have seen some projects gaining versus Bitcoin, even though the overall dollar value of those may be down. Monero up 8.3%, for example. Ethereum Classic up nearly 5%. Quantum up 8% in the last 24 hours. We have even had some big movers recently. We see, for example, Centrality up 61.9%, Theta token up 16.3%. Not all is lost in the market currently. We find our situations a lot like this art installation sitting in front of the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Who's going to make the next move? Will it be the bears or will it be the bulls? By the way, that. Now, research. ETFs could lead Bitcoin price to $35,000, and it isn't far away, according to the research. They said it is the last barrier preventing institutional investors from entering the cryptocurrency market. Lack of trusted custodianship and a suite of institutional cryptocurrency products. I feel like the institutional investors are talked about in the same way we talk about the unbanked in cryptocurrencies. They're out there. We need to capture them and get them interested in cryptocurrencies, make them buy them or use them. But the reality is that institutional investors are getting more and more interested all the time. It is simply a matter of when, not if, they get involved. And if ETFs could help that process, well, let's get it going. Of course, we have to realize that by inviting institutional investors in, we invite all of their baggage into the crypto markets, which is considerable, without a doubt. Brian Kelly, 4 signs that Bitcoin is bottoming, according to Brian Kelly, of course. One is, of course, based on the price drops, but also on the mining cost of Bitcoin. Although I don't find the mining cost argument super compelling on a short-term basis anyway, because I think a lot of miners out there will be willing to run temporary losses in order to keep accruing Bitcoin. Now, if we saw a long-term bear trend where Bitcoin price went down even farther, then some of the Bitcoin miners will be turning off their machines, especially if they live in higher electricity areas. Printing more Tether is noted as a third reason that we might be seeing the bottom coming in. Even the geopolitical implications of the growing trade wars may indicate we are nearing the bottom for Bitcoin. Speaking of Tether, Tether has enough USD to back its tokens, says law firm in unofficial statement. Now, good news, bad news. I'm happy to see that Tether is backed. You guys know I've been a long critic of Tether, without a doubt. However, we do have to keep in mind that this is still just a verification, so to speak, but not actually an audit. Why have we still not had the promised audits from Tether? Because they have promised those. Remember, that's in the Tether white paper. There'll be regular audits, and they haven't had an audit in a very long time. So yes, according to these lawyers who looked at their accounts, they have verified that the money is there. And that's a good thing for crypto, because I still have a lot of doubts and misgivings about Tether, but the reality is I don't want it to explode either, because it would be bad for a lot of people. ING, interest in cryptocurrency expected to double, at least. 66% of people in Europe say they have heard of cryptocurrency. However, fewer than 1 in 10, only 9%, own it. An additional 16% say they expect to own it in the future. Interesting numbers here. Turkey, 18% of people currently own cryptocurrencies in Turkey. That is a massive number. That is a massive number. Of course, I'm sure a lot of Turkish citizens are concerned about the future of the Turkish lira. Romania, 12% of people own cryptocurrencies. And again, a very impressive number. Australia, 7%. USA, 8%. France and the UK all the way down at 6%. So there's also a lot of potential growth there in all of these markets. So again, if we go back to the idea that there's still a lot of potential, it's the institutional investors, but it's also regular investors. They're going to be a large pusher in the adoption of cryptocurrencies, but also in pushing the prices back up. And right now, a lot of regular investors have been scared out of the markets because of the major downtrend that we're in. But this is also a great time to be getting involved in cryptocurrencies. It's an ironic thing. The time of maximum fear is usually the best time to get involved, and the time of maximum exuberance is usually the best time to get out. The world's a funny place like that. Bitcoin is an epidemic of enthusiasm, says Nobel Prize winner Robert Shiller. Thanks, Robert. The East Coast is less into it than the West Coast. Talking about the USA, of course. Silicon Valley is really into it. It's a social movement. It's an epidemic of enthusiasm. It's also a speculative bubble, but that doesn't mean it will go to zero. He says a lot of people are out there for the get rich quick ideas. This is another one of those, why do they keep asking these people? But they do. Nevertheless, I'm enthusiastic about Bitcoin. Perhaps I'm infected by the epidemic. That being said, when you start to read about what Bitcoin does and understand what Bitcoin does, if you haven't read Andreas Antonopoulos' The Internet of Money, for example, go out and get it. Understand why Bitcoin is important, and you'll realize it's more than just a temporary fad. It's more than just something that, oh my gosh, I caught the Bitcoin bug, and then you get over it a week later. It's not quite like that, and I think he knows that. Chinese billionaire Jack Ma is increasingly warning about a bubble in Bitcoin. Jack Ma goes on to say, blockchain technology can change our world more than people imagine. However, Bitcoin could be a bubble. Again, a blockchain before Bitcoin kind of statement. And there are very differing ideas on this. We have blockchain technology and all that can offer, not even necessarily needing crypto assets, although crypto assets will be very valuable to a lot of these blockchain products that are being launched. But Bitcoin represents something different. Yes, it's blockchain and a great iteration of blockchain and a secure blockchain, but Bitcoin also represents financial freedom, being your own bank, being in control of your money. Those kind of ideas are revolutionary, and those kind of ideas go directly against big governments, central banks, and all of those things. Although, in China, for example, they love blockchain. Bitcoin, though. Jack Ma seems to be on board, or maybe he just wants us to buy Tron. Interesting. Speakers at congressional hearing warn of crypto use in foreign political meddling. That's right, guys. Bitcoin is going to overthrow your elections. Be ready for it. And who are we to blame for this? It's Russia. Of course it's Russia. Yes, the Russians are going to overthrow American elections using Bitcoin next time. I knew it. Blame the Russians. Oh my gosh. I don't make the stories up, guys. I just report them. Now, he actually came out and said one of our main concerns is that Russia's use of virtual currencies to affect the U.S. political system, noting the country's interest in releasing its own cryptocurrency and its consideration of a 13% crypto tax would potentially place them in a position to benefit from money laundering using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Remember, money laundering always gets touted as being this big thing that's happening in Bitcoin. You got to remember, 99% of money laundering is currently happening using dollars. Most money laundering is happening in London or on Wall Street. Sure, there are plenty of Russian oligarchs who are money laundering. They just call up their banker in London and say, hey, I need to launder some money. It's not Bitcoin's fault, guys. Bitcoin's just money. This would be the same as them coming out and saying, we're going to ban dollars or we're going to ban euros or crack down on dollars and euros because somebody might use them to do something bad at some point. And of course, this joke of saying that Russia is going to be influencing American elections, the political system using, Bitcoin is ridiculous, especially considering the number of governments the US has overthrown. But that's a whole different story for a different day. Facebook renouncing ban on cryptocurrency ads. Nice one, Facebook. I mean, Facebook, but hey, nice one, Facebook, nevertheless. So that means that like Gemini and Coinbase, for example, will be able to start doing ads again on Facebook. And you can say what you want about Facebook, but the reality is that there's a massive audience over there. And it also accounts for a massive percentage of the global advertising budget and attention area. So this is good for them to be re-implementing that. You will have to go through a process to get verified so that they make sure that you're not just some scammy ICO. For example, I don't know how serious that process is going to be, but I feel like they have looked at it and went, wow, we're missing out on a lot of potential ad revenue here. Let's get the cryptocurrency thing going again. Hopefully we can see a reversal on that from Google here in the near future. I mean, no one's really sitting around holding their breath for Bing to bring cryptocurrency ads back because nobody uses Bing, and the people that do use Bing probably don't even know, don't even consider these things. Australia and New Zealand central banks shun volatile digital currencies. Unsurprising, of course, to see central banks going, no, we don't like digital currencies. Well, of course they don't like digital currencies. It's going to overthrow their whole damn business model. And finally, this one weird trick exchanges are using to pump up their daily trading volume. This is trading as mining, which is a weird concept, but essentially what it is that for every trade you make, you will be rewarded a small bit of tokens from the exchange, of course being the exchange token itself. So let's say I start Lark Exchange and you come over and you spend $1,000 on the exchange. Well, I'm going to give you 0.05 or 0.1% of your exchange back, but in Lark tokens. Lark Exchange tokens, of course. This is happening on a few different exchanges already. Critics of the model are coming out and saying, well, this is basically an ICO, but an undisclosed ICO that you're trying to roll out your own coin on your exchange, yada, yada, yada. The CEO of Binance didn't have much good to say about it, saying if an exchange's survival depends largely on the price of its own token rather than on transaction fee earnings, it has to drive the token price. In this regard, less experienced traders and retail investors can hardly have the upper hand in the trading competition with those crypto whales, especially the exchange whale. Interesting comments indeed. I'm not sure how I feel about this model. On the one hand, if you're getting some free tokens or getting paid to exchange on their website, well, that's kind of a good thing. On the other hand, of course, for regular Joe, you're not going to get very much back. You'll get a few bucks a month maybe, whereas the whales will be getting thousands of dollars worth of these tokens, be able to manipulate the prices, and we just rinse and repeat the whole process of moving wealth to the wealthy. Yeah, cryptos. What are you going to do? Let me know what you think about any of today's news stories in the comment section down below. Share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Join the conversation over on Twitter. Thumbs up the video. Long live the blockchain. And peace out till next time.